Here I'll describe what MECFS is, what it is not, and how I describe it to my friends and family. Hey there, I'm Wanda Belisle. I'm a registered health and mobility coach and the creator of the REST method, but more importantly, I'm a person who has lived with MECFS for the last 6 years. I've gone from being completely stuck on the couch, like unable to move in paralyzing fatigue, where I might get out of the house like once a week to go to a doctor's appointment or to the pharmacy, to a person who's now about 95% recovered, although I do experience a little brain fog. So you might see me like miss words or be searching for words or mispronounce them. I like to tell people it's just like a drinking game. Every time I do one of these things, just grab your electrolytes and you'll be hydrated by the end. I was talking with one of my clients and she said how she had difficulty explaining what MECFS is to her friends. And in the process of me writing my book, Navigating Life with MECFS and Long COVID, I've done a lot of research, and the way I now describe it to my friends and family has changed. So to start off, what is MECFS? Myalgic Encephalomyelitis. Of course, we have a name for a disease that has brain fog that is impossible to say, or chronic fatigue syndrome. Is a complex neuro-immune disease often triggered by a viral infection, which sends our immune system into a chronic state of overload. This leads to the presence of inflammation, especially neuroinflammation, and this causes a disruption in the energy cycle at a cellular level, impairing mitochondrial function. Now, the hallmark symptom of MECFS is post exertional malaise. This is where any physical or mental exertion can significantly exacerbate our symptoms, causing severe energy crashes, which can last anywhere between a day or even weeks or months. This condition brings about severe reduction in functionality and affecting every system in the body, creating a debilitating fatigue that's far beyond tiredness. And it also brings a myriad of other symptoms like brain fog, sleep disturbance, and pain. So now, what isn't MECFS? MECFS is not chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue is a symptom of other illnesses like autoimmune illnesses, type 2 diabetes, lupus, thyroid conditions that all cause chronic fatigue, where you can feel very tired, but it doesn't trigger PEM, which is the key difference here. The only illness where someone does experience post-exertional malaise is in ME and also long COVID, which makes me feel that if you're experiencing long COVID and you have post-exertional malaise, that you do qualify for the MECFS diagnosis. Now, the problem with the chronic fatigue syndrome name, currently there's no one diagnosis criteria for MECFS. There are over 20 different standards worldwide, and this is a huge problem because not everyone who qualifies for chronic fatigue syndrome or to have that label actually does experience post-exertional malaise. So if you have someone who has cured their illness but didn't experience PEM and now are selling you on like trying different methods, or this is also where graded exercise therapy comes into play, and it can help some people and make others super sick. So it's so crucial that we have a diagnostic criteria, or eventually they come up with a blood test that is available to everyone so we can see exactly what illness we're dealing with. Personally, I think the name chronic fatigue syndrome is a BS umbrella term that doctors have given people. It undermines the actual disease. It's like calling dementia chronic forgetful syndrome. It just does not show the magnitude of how it can devastate a person's life. And again, it catches all these other illnesses where you might have an autoimmune condition and you're just like put into that chronic fatigue syndrome umbrella because you have like fatigue that lasts a long time, but you might not be experiencing post-exertional malaise. For myself personally, I found the name chronic fatigue syndrome to be really undermining and embarrassing. It took me 3 months to tell my husband that I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, because there's just no way an illness that completely devastated our lives was something that sounded so small and made up and insignificant. But when I talk to people going forward from now on, I'm just going to explain that I have ME, encephalomyelitis. It is a complex neuro-immune disease. My immune system is in this constant state of over alert, which increases neuroinflammation and my body cannot produce energy on a cellular level. Like when you hit the wall when you're running, my body can do that by just going up the stairs. And instead of being able to use glucose as fuel, it's like you're in the middle of the winter and run out of wood. So I'm like burning books and furniture just trying to make it through the day. Now, because I know what brain fog's like and I don't want you having to sit here and write notes, you'll see down below I'll have a link I'll make a little cheat sheet that you can just grab, and you'll have what I've said here today on how to describe MECFS or ME to your friends and family. You can also find me on Instagram, or you can link to my website below and subscribe to my email for all kinds of tips and tricks on how to deal with MECFS.